Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Illiyin Hairizal, and today I will be the first one for our pair to present about a poem related to our theme, which is nature. The poem that I have chosen is entitled Fire and Ice, and it is written by Robert Frost, the famous poet. I will begin the presentation by reciting the poem first. Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I've tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction ice is also great and would suffice. Based on the poem that I just recited, can you guys guess who is the speaker of this poem? Yes, it's Robert Frost himself. He seems to have faced adversity and also pain in his life, so in his ridiculously stated ending, he's careful but also sarcastic at the same time. However, I think he doesn't give a particular opinion because fire or ice, it seems like they're the same. So I think that's why he is the speaker of this poem. Alright, let's move on to the situation. In summary, Frost tells us in this 9-line poem that he has heard some people saying that the world will end in fire, and some other people say it will end in ice. So to basically sum up things, they say things like, or the world will either burn or freeze. And he has his own opinions too, which he thinks fire is more likely given his desired experience. However, ice also comes near second to him because he has seen enough of icy cold rage that is also sufficient and enough to destroy the planet as well. So what I'm trying to say is this poem is a symbolic poem, which I will talk later in the figurative language section. Okay, what's fascinating about this poem is there is actually no clear settings. However, when we read the poem, we can somehow imagine the place settings, which is like maybe lava explosions or iceberg or an age where there's full of ice, because there's no clear settings, so we can just imagine the place settings of how the world will end. Let's move on to the figurative language that is used in this poem. First of all, assonance is used. Assonance is the repetition of vowel sound. In line 4, I hold those who favor fire. The repetition of vowel sound O is used. Right, the second one is alliteration, which is the repetition of consonant sound. In the same line, I hold those who favor fire. The consonant sound F is used twice. The third figurative language used is imagery. Readers can imagine a scenario where people are debating over how the world will end. And for the fourth one is symbolic. Like I stated earlier, this poem is basically a powerful symbolic poem. So fire represents desire and ice represents hatred. Because we always hear the word like hot, like burning desire, and also ice is like hatred. It's really cold and really hard. So that's why it's symbolism. Alright, the fifth one is anaphora, which is in line 1 until 2. Some say it's used twice there, so that's anaphora. And then we have personification, where human qualities are given to fire and ice. Human qualities are given to fire and ice, yes. Destruction quality. And then we have enjambment from line 3 until 4. From what I've tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. There is no pause at the end of line 3, so it continues to line 4. Right. Okay, the last figurative language that we have is understatement. How is this poem an understatement? Is because in line 7 until 9, to say that for destruction, ice is also great and will suffice leads to a nonchalant tone in the poem, which I think it's safe to believe that Robert Frost doesn't care if the world will end in fire or ice, because either way the world will end. Okay guys, hold on a little bit more. We are almost at the end of this poem. Okay, the last thing that I want to talk about this poem, that I want to discuss about, is the relationship of this poem with Robert Frost himself. Okay, first of all, its historical context is that Robert Frost wrote this in 1920, which was 2 years after the end of World War I. So what it means that time people were thinking about revolution, apocalypse, social and political chaos at the same time, mostly poets. So I think that's why he wrote this. The second thing that I found related to him with his poem is that, according to his biographers, that he wrote this inspired by a book called Dante's Inferno's Canto 32, which by a passage that wrote, the worst people, which are the traitors, will get punished in a fiery hell with ice submerged to their necks. And the biographers state that Robert Frost was inspired by this passage especially, and that's why he wrote this poem. I think that is all from me. Thank you for listening, and let's move on to my pair, Syaza.
Assalamualaikum and hi, I'm Syaza Binti Muhammad Junaidi and I'm Illiyin's partner. The poem that I have chosen for my part of this presentation is Water by Ralph Waldo Emerson, and I'll be reciting it right now. 1, 2. The water understands civilization well. It wets my foot but prettily, it chews my life but wittily. It is not disconcerted, it is not broken-hearted. Well used, it decketh joy. It doneth, doubleth joy. Ill used, it will destroy. In perfect time and measure, with a face of golden pleasure, elegantly destroyed. First of all, I'll be talking about the speaker of this poem. I think that the speaker of this poem is Ralph Waldo Emerson himself, because he wants to somehow convey his admiration towards water by writing this poem. Next is the situation of this poem. In summary, this poem, Water by Ralph Waldo Emerson, is about water that if we humankind use it well, it will bring it is a blessing to us, because we can use it for our daily life. And if we humankind treat it poorly and misuse the usage of water, it can somehow bring disaster to us. This poem also does not have a specific setting throughout the poem, but I am sure that when we read this poem, we can somehow imagine us being at the sea or by the river or at the lake. This poem consists of only one stanza, but with 12 lines, and the rhyming scheme is A, B, C, C, D, D, E, 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 F, F, E. So for the figurative language used in this poem, first we have alliteration. We can see it in the word decketh, doubles, and destroy, which is in the line 7 until line 9. And then we also have enjambment, which is in the transition between line 1 and line 2. The water understands civilization well. And then we also have anaphora, which is the repetition in the vowel of vowel of E, in the beginning of line 3 to line 6. And then we also have personification used in this poem. We can see it in the first line of the poem, the water understands, and the 6th line, it is not broken-hearted. The 6th line. And then Ralph Waldo Emerson also uses metaphor to enhance this poem, which we can see in the line 11, with the face of golden pleasure. Oxymoron is also used in this poem, which is the use of two opposite things. You can see it in the last line in the poem, which is elegantly destroyed. We also have imagery. Ralph Waldo Emerson gives us the image, we can imagine like how the water is wetting our feet. So how did Ralph Waldo Emerson became a naturalist? On Christmas Day in 1832, Ralph Waldo Emerson, he left America and he went to Europe. When he arrived, he went to Paris. There is this one place named Jardin des Plantes. It is a botanical and a zoological garden, and he had an epiphany there. And he also wrote in his journal that, I quote, "I feel the centipede in me, the cayman, carp, eagle and fox. I am moved by strange sympathies. I say continually, I will be a naturalist." End quote. Ralph Waldo Emerson was born on May 25th, 1803 in Boston, Massachusetts, United States of America, and he died on April 27th, 1882 in Concord. Ralph Waldo Emerson lived through the period of New England, or also known as American Renaissance, which occurred between 1840 to 1860. He is also a pantheist. Pantheist is when a person believes that God exists in every part of creation. Since Emerson is a transcendentalist, this poem is a perfect example of transcendentalism. It is because Ralph Waldo Emerson, he joins together nature and human traits, and we can in this poem, and we can see it in the very first line of this poem, where he says that the water understands. That is all from me and Illiyin. Thank you so much for listening to our presentation. Bye.